Hey folks, welcome to another edition of Fitness Friday Posi-TIPS with Rachelle. Last time I highlighted one of my latest Planet Fitness or PF adventures to the 5 Mile Road location here in Livonia, Michigan. Had an awesome time, and Mr. Walter remains my PF inspiration. And in the interest of time, I'm actually going to save my visit to the most recent location, actually the newest edition of the Planet Fitness locations here in Metro Detroit, Wayne, Michigan. Had a fantastic time. Can't wait to tell you about it, but I'm going to table that and move right on in here into today's episode, continuing this conversation on the importance, again, highlighting HR, power to the people, but quickly wanted to highlight this one. Club Industry Magazine. This is an update, just industry trends. I always like to share these. So Pamela Kufal on July 22nd, Club Industries e-newsletter shared the unfortunate and the sad news. Gold's Gym is up for sale again. All right, really quickly, Gold's Gym International, Dallas, Texas, may soon get a new owner. TRT Holdings Incorporated, which has been the majority shareholder of Gold's Gym since 2004, is looking for a buyer for the brand, according to a July 20th media release from TRT Holdings and Gold's Gym. TRT Holdings is moving out of the health club business to focus on its core business, which is Omni Hotels and Resorts, according to the release. So wanted to share that, and I've talked about this particularly in marketing episodes, just how there's been this drastic shift away from some of those gyms. Again, the Gold's Gym, and Joe Gold is actually considered to be the grandfather of the chain industry in the fitness arena. Started Gold's years and years ago, back in the 60s, and so it's just interesting, which I've talked about in past episodes, how the paradigm has shifted through the years, and now we've got, we have smaller gyms, your boutique facilities, we've got chains such as Anytime, Lifetime, Planet, Snap. There's just so many other options now, but just wanted to highlight that, and certainly hoping for good things, continued good things for Gold's Gym moving forward, folks. But quickly, wanted to recap from last time. It's back again. I know, bam, good to great. Again, we can't talk about HR, human resources topics, without focusing and highlighting again on good to great. And this is for folks who may have missed last week's episode. So to quickly summarize 3 key points from this book. Again, you're talking about you as a leader, you're a general manager, assistant, you're an owner, franchisee, corporate manager, whatever the case may be. You're driving your bus, so your facility, metaphorically speaking, you're driving the bus, and so you want to make sure that your bus is going to the right place, going to the right destination. And so again, your hiring's got to line up with that. Whatever your goals are, you want to be the best, and you want to be the best in your suburb. You want to be the best in your city. You want to have the most number of members. Whatever that goal is, you want to have the best customer service. You want to have the cleanest facility. All right, there's a lot of different goals that you can have, but while you're driving that bus, if you want to get to that destination, which is your goals, you got to make sure, number one, you have the right people on the bus. You got to have the right people on the bus. Do they want to be there? Do they want to work there? Are they there because they can't find another job? Are they there because they're desperate? I mean, is their heart truly in the place? Because that is certainly reflective, of course, not only in the fitness industry, but just industries in general. These are just key important topics of what has made many companies go from being good to great, because that's truly what everyone, who doesn't want to be great? Who doesn't want to be awesome? All right, so number one, you want to have the right people on the bus. Number two, you want to have the right people in the right seats. All right, and so you got to make sure whatever the position is that you're filling, is it a good fit for the person? Have they historically had similar roles? I mean, when you're thinking about potential for turnover down the road, is this a brand new type of position for them? If they're used to sitting down all day at a desk and now they're going to be on their feet for 8-10 hours a day, is that going to be a good fit? So again, you just got to think about, is this a good fit? Is the person in the right seat? All right, or again, just speaking simplistically, is this a good fit for the person? Number 3, have the wrong people, get the wrong people off the bus. Sometimes they will self-select, but sometimes, unfortunately, firings and terminations have to occur, but that's just a part of business, that's just a part of life. And so those are 3 important facts from this book, and just certainly key takeaways. I can't do justice to it, so I'm encouraging you, get this book. This is one that you want to refer to often. There's a reason why it's still, many years later after it was first published, it is still talked about so often in the business world. And so folks, moving on, when I think about, again, just applying some of what he's talked about in that book, and leadership development is one of my key areas that I do in terms of helping other people. And so when I think about leadership from a leadership development perspective, franchisees and the corporations, the corporate chains certainly know this as well, but this is certainly true for the private gym owners, the private facility and studio owners. Who you have in those leadership seats is so important, And for those who follow me a long time, go ahead and say this quote along with me. John C. Maxwell, when a world-renowned leadership expert, said, everything rises and falls on leadership. So it's so important. Who's running the show that can make or break the success of your facility or your facilities, whatever the case may be. So just keep that in mind. I talk specifically, and again, I'm in a position to speak certainly to my club, the PF Commerce Club. I call it PF Commerce Country Club, and talked last time about Cody. The general manager is doing a great job. Everything flows down from leadership. When I think about, people may hear the country club, me tied into a country club and call it that, and may not quite understand, what that means. And what I mean by that is it's a very refined environment, but also the staff does an excellent job of exceeding expectations, of recognizing, just doing little things, little extra. I know in Louisiana there's a term called lagniappe. Lagniappe means just a little extra. Again, just doing, from a customer service standpoint, just little things that you can do that can really just improve someone's experience, perhaps if they're a first-time gym goer, just to ensure that they have a good experience. But again, loyalty in the fitness arena, just loyalty in general, is all about creating positive, memorable experiences. And so when I think back to Cody one time, this is a few months ago, I was signing for the hydro bed at the time, and I used to go later in the mornings, and it was winter time, so it was later in the morning, so there was a wait, and just one thing, and it starts with him, because other staff members did it, but he did it as well. And I said, what a great example he's setting is when there was a wait, instead of saying, okay, there's going to be a wait, I'll let you know when a bed is ready. No, okay, looking here, we'll have a bed ready for you in about 32 seconds. All right, and they're really good about doing that. Okay, yeah, in the summertime, my workout shift much earlier, and I'm probably going to try to continue that because I have just so much more productive in the summertime when my workouts start out much earlier. But anyway, that's just an example of that. Just fantastic, going above and beyond and letting people know how much time to wait, or if they're going to have to wait. All right, and just that way they can plan. Okay, if it's going to be 2 minutes and 12 seconds, that may push me, whatever. So the person is empowered, the member is empowered to make that decision. So that just was an awesome example. Josh, and I was so excited to see here a couple weeks ago on his name tag, assistant manager. I know a while before it said shift leader, so it looks like he's been promoted. Absolutely deserves it. Josh does a great job for the gym. I see him in the mornings, and Josh is a hard-working man. He's often on a cleaning mission, and that, too, from a leadership perspective, is always wonderful to see when you've got someone in a leadership role who's not afraid to do menial tasks. And I think that sets a good example for others, again, other folks, the front desk folks, and other people to see that you got someone in a leadership role that is not afraid to clean. But Josh is a gentleman. Josh is a secret weapon, certainly for Cody. Cody is so lucky to have him. And he always knows the right thing to say. He's such a gentleman, always knows the right thing to say. And this is an example of the gentlemanly behavior, but also a leadership behavior. Okay, now, April 2018, all of the hydro beds, there was some type of glitch, whatever. So from the programming at the front desk to the beds receiving it. So anyway, so sometimes when that happens, this has been, months ago when that would happen, you may get a code. Here's a code, and just enter that when you get in there, and it'll press start, and it'll start working. That was happening that one April morning, how was Josh handling that? Did a fantastic job. Josh did a fantastic job. Leadership, again, stepping up to the plate, creating memorable experiences for members. Instead of giving people a code and telling them to go press it, Josh was walking people back and forth. I was one of the people in the lady before me, the person after me. He was walking people to the beds and programming it for them and hitting start. That talk about creating memorable experiences for people, but going above and beyond, because some people may not enter the wrong code, or it may not work, and then that just creates frustration, but it also slows the process down for other people who may be waiting. So that was just a wonderful, just a great example. And Lauren, another person, does a fantastic job and has a great attitude there on Saturday mornings when I see her. And I saw on her name tag, it said shift leader. And I thought to myself, oh wow, it looks like she's been promoted. Absolutely deserve it. Does a fantastic job. Just does a fantastic job. And I know, one Saturday when I came in, she said, is your family still here? She had remembered before that I mentioned that I had family coming to town for the 4th, but just great leadership team. And so who you have in those seats is so important. And folks, it's actually, this is something someone asked me the other day. They said, well, Rachelle, you really seem to love your club and whatever. Do you feel like you wish you would have joined that club first? And I said, you know what? I said, absolutely not. I said, let me tell you why. And I said, I had a good experience in Novi. I have nothing but the utmost respect for that team. They're doing a hard-working team, doing a great job over there. And I said, from a leadership perspective, think about what I do. From a leadership perspective, I'm so glad I was a member of that club, because I'm going to do a full episode in the fall on the lunk alarm. It's going to be called The Complexities of the Lunk Alarm. So I'm going to look at it from an HR perspective, from a marketing perspective, from a member perspective, prospective member perspective. So we're going to look at different aspects of it in one particular episode. But I'll tell you something. I remember, so I joined June 28, 2017. Joined the club. I thought, okay, here we go. All right. Making it happen. And so then that was Wednesday, June 28th. All right. And so that Saturday, when I worked out there at the Novi-Michigan location of Planet Fitness, that lunk alarm went off. And I remember thinking, now I knew from a marketing perspective, yes, that part of their brand, whatever this, and then I heard that thing go off, and I thought to myself, that you've got to be kidding me. And I thought to myself, they actually used that thing? And a clear answer was yes. And so I thought to myself, because that thing is, going to talk more about this on the episode, but that thing is loud, it's startling, and whatever. And I just thought to myself, you know what, if that thing's going to keep happening, there's just no way. I'm not going to last at Planet Fitness. I'm going to have to go to Lifetime. And so, but anyway, and so I say all that to say, I'm going to highlight a quick article here, and I'm going to tie it into leadership and why I'm glad I joined that club, because it's just a model example of what I'm a consultant. So what I call compassionate confrontation. So I'm going to highlight this real quick. So New York Times, January 2nd, 2013. So an older article, Andrew Adam Newman said, the title of the article, A Gym for People Who Don't Like Gyms. Okay, talking about Planet Fitness. Quote here, rather than being just a narrative device in the spots, lunk alarms have actually been fixtures at Planet Fitness gyms. Members who exhibit lunk behavior, which the company defines on posters and its facilities as grunting, dropping weights loudly, and being judgmental, are subject to a public shaming when a manager at the facility sounds the alarm. So again, an older article, and I know when I heard the lunk alarm go off, this may have been policy where a manager had to do it back in 2013. I don't know, because I was a powerhouse then, but it wasn't a manager who sounded it that particular Saturday morning. And so that's an example, and it just talks about, but I'm going to save the meat of this for that particular episode in the fall, but why I was so glad to experience that in that particular club from a leadership perspective. Nate Lucier. Nate does a great job for the gym. I'll never forget this, folks. Never forget this. October 2018. So I'm doing a standing stretch, and so here I am towards the back wall of the gym, and the cardio, actually the selectorized weight machines are 2 rows of them right here, and then all the cardio machines are all 2 rows of them against the front window. And so, and the cable machines are kind of off here into this corner, and then the free weights were on this corner. So you had a guy, because I was stretching so I could see. So young man, probably no more than about 19 or 20. And then all of a sudden he's on the cable row machine and you hear him going, ah! And I remember thinking to myself, like, okay, now what is this? Now I'm used to hearing that. I mean, it doesn't bother me because I have my headphones in, whatever this and that, but I was curious to what the response was going to be in that situation. Because again, I'm like, are they going to ring that thing? Is that we're going to have to listen to that loud thing again? And so long story short, Nate was at the front desk. This guy kept doing it. Nate walked over, approached the young man, talked to him. There was no alarm, just helped the man save face. And again, going back to that quote there of public shaming. When you think about human nature, again, I'm stealing away from my episode here. When you think about human nature, the fear of rejection, the fear of humiliation, the fear of looking bad in front of other people for humans is huge. And I will always have the utmost respect for how Nate handled that. Because that's leadership, folks. That's why I said leadership is not always pretty. Leadership requires what I call, particularly for the Planet Fitness franchise, which has faced an incredible amount of criticism behind just the lunk alarm and people being humiliated and feeling rejection, another huge fear, and all of that. And just the way he stepped up and led, took ownership of that situation, helped that young man save face, talked to him, the man stopped, and that was that. Heather, assistant manager at that club, same thing. There was no ringing a lunk alarm. She was confronting people, compassionate confrontation. And certainly, lastly, Mike. I used to call him Magic Mike. And I hope Mike was a member service representative at the front desk. I sure hope he's a shift leader or manager or assistant manager by now, because he certainly had that potential. He had the ability to compassionately confront All right, and so when you've got, particularly with Planet Fitness, where there's a lot of policies and procedures, particularly around that lunk alarm and all of that, where confrontation is certainly far more required than other chains and gyms in general, confrontation is important. And I think they those three in particular, there was no ringing of the lunk alarm. They stood up and then they led and took ownership of that situation and helped people save face, most importantly, but also didn't penalize other members by ringing that loud siren, that loud alarm. And I know Mike, real quick too, is just such a good guy, such a gentleman. He would volunteer to work the overnight shift sometimes, so the female front desk folks, staff, wouldn't have to do it. And so just remarkable. And certainly I hope he's in a leadership role by now. But folks, those are some examples, which is in Planet Fitness, I would argue, again, to combat all the criticism and all of that you will see in the public, on the corporate Facebook page, and even on individual club pages, people feeling rejected and humiliated by the lunk alarm. And then confrontation is just tough in general for people. So you got to know how to confront people in general. People struggle with that. And then people don't handle confrontation well. And so I think it's a recipe for just a bad situation. And I think that's why you see some of the negativity around this whole concept of how they are confronted at Planet Fitness, or the lunk alarm, and how ashamed and embarrassed they feel. But it's going to save this for the fall, but just wanted to quickly highlight those, having people in the right seats, okay? Planet Fitness, again, they want to double their membership in the next, I assure you, in the next 5 years, they can really embrace this concept of compassionate confrontation, and that'll certainly help them get there hugely. I assure you that. And interestingly enough, think about that. I've been a member since June 28th. I've been to several different clubs, and I work out anywhere from 2 to 3 hours at a time. That's the only time I've heard it. And so that lets me know, different locations, different managers, different franchisees, I think that lets me know that I think folks are getting it. Folks are realizing that, again, you got to confront people. There's a way to deal with this situation, but also not penalize other people with that loud sound that's startling, and you're wondering what the heck is going on. Is it a fire drill? And so, folks, that is that. I want to quickly move on in here to some HR, or some Society for Human Resource Management statistics. So just on a broad level, talking about HR. So this article appeared in Undercover Recruiter e-newsletter on May 17, 2018. So we're talking about what motivates people when you're hiring people, when you're interviewing. What you think is important may not be as important as you think it is. According to SHRM, okay, so the Society for HR Management, okay, I was a member of the Detroit chapter from 2012 to 2015. According to SHRM, employees cite the following as extremely important regarding company culture. Respectful treatment of all employees at all levels was 67%. Compensation, 63%. Benefits, 60%. Job security, 58%. Trust between employees and senior management, 55%. These numbers are much too high to ignore. Okay, compensation clearly matters to many people, and it will always be a significant deciding factor in terms of whether or not employees will ultimately accept a position or seek more money elsewhere. But respect, job security, trust, and benefits are all just as important. So this came from SHRM's 2016 Employee Job Satisfaction and Engagement Executive Summary. So again, treating people right. Number one, respectful treatment of all employees at all levels. So it goes back to what I told you. You look at Glassdoor.com, you look at Indeed.com, around the fitness industry, those current and former employee reviews. Favoritism that comes up a lot across all different chains. So treating people respectfully at all levels was number one. So important, folks. So important. And so I want to quickly shift gears here as I move towards the end, and just recognizing the importance of human resources and your people. And want to pull back that particular word of public shaming. Pull that back and recognize, we all know we live in the social media age. So anything you do can end up on social media. And I often say anything that you do or don't do, say or don't say, can be used against you in the court of public opinion, posted to social media. And so from an HR perspective, you got to recognize, okay, people are watching you. We talk about reading the reviews and seeing what online reviews, what do your members' surveys say? All right, people are watching you. Your members, your prospective members, people are watching you, your facility, but most importantly, are watching your people. And I think that's so important to recognize. I mean, they may comment, this person's awesome, this person rocks, this manager rocks, this staff is always on it, they remember my name. But also, we've got to recognize, and I've got to point this out, the negative is going to be highlighted. What they perceive to be negative, and it may not even be true in terms of it being a negative, All right, but you got to recognize everyone who comes in your facility does not always wish you well. Everyone who comes into your facility does not always want the best for you. All right, does not want the best in terms of preserving your reputation or anything like that. And I want to quickly highlight an example from Planet Fitness, and I was mortified when I saw it. So bear with me. I've got to pull it up here. I'm a tree hugger, so I don't like to print out a lot of stuff. And so I've got to find it here, and I was mortified when I saw it. And I said, you know what? My next series will be on self-image. The series after that is going to be another leadership series, and it is going to be on gym leadership, 7 gym leadership no-nos. And one of those is, so this is a kind of teaser for that episode, everything that you do or don't do, say or don't say, can be posted to social media. And so again, your reputation is certainly on the line here. So going back to the Planet Fitness Facebook corporate page here. So planetfitness.com www.facebook.com/planetfitness. So July 23rd, there was a post here from corporate. Everybody could use a pit stop in the judgment-free zone. Pro NASCAR driver Joey Logano stopped by to recharge and refuel at the grand opening of our new Merrimack, New Hampshire location. Again, New Hampshire-based company, so they're highlighting a new location. This was July 23rd at 12:47 p.m. This post went out. So a gentleman responded to it. Danny Myers responded with a picture and says, this is what they do at Planet Fitness in Sioux City, Iowa. And there's a group of employees standing there talking. So, but there's no context. We don't know, but he just posted it. And so then some person replied to his post. Julie Johnson said, is that scrubbing bubbles on the countertop? He replied to that reply and said, yep, guess they all needed a break after cleaning. They were all in that same spot my whole workout, 55 minutes. And I saw that, and I was mortified when I saw that. And so, somebody replied to him, then he replied again, when I'm doing abs right next to them and hearing them talk about parties and getting drunk, so yeah, I'm sure. And so it was just this back and forth, and I saw that, and I just thought to myself, like, then this guy named Robs Jordan, a few down, says that looks like a nice place compared to mine. And then Garrett Hagelshower says, no, that's every Planet Fitness. I mean, it just was crazy. But then further on down, this was interesting. I'm always interested in Michigan clubs. Shelley Woolley says, wish you all would hurry up on the Garden City location. That's one of our impending Michigan locations. Then Rosalind Warden says, Planet Fitness is great. I love my location in Dearborn. But anyway, from an HR perspective, so just recognize when I saw that, I was mortified because again, I was thinking to myself, dude, like, why are you posting that? If you have an issue with something, talk to them, talk to the manager directly. Don't post something like this is an HR nightmare. This is an HR nightmare. You don't want to make employees look bad. And I'm speaking to facility members now. You don't want to make employees and staff members look bad. Talk to them if you have an issue, you have a question, whatever. Talk to them directly. Talk to folks at the facility. Don't run and post stuff on social media because it makes people look bad. And for those of you in leadership roles, recognize that stuff happens every day. Okay, Planet Fitness, they get a lot of that. I mean, I've seen posts where you've got, a member having some situation with someone at the front desk and it's gotten ugly and heated and they're taking a picture of the person at the front desk and posting it and talking about what happened on the corporate Facebook page. And so just stuff like that happens. And so folks, just recognize, just treat people right and just, help people save face. I don't agree with public shaming in any form or fashion. I utilize these as teaching tools because I want to help you avoid some of these pitfalls. And so that's the importance of HR. Having an HR person, having some HR insight will help you tremendously. And I want to close this episode out here by highlighting. Now, you've heard me talk about the PF Michigan group, and now they should be up to about 39, 40 locations by now in Michigan and in northern Ohio. And so, okay, very successful, very, very successful. And so one of their secret weapons in the home office is Maureen Cisco. You've heard me mention her name before, but she is the HR director. And so when I go into different clubs, when I see different things, it's very clear to me. And I'm a past SHRM member, Society for HR member, of Detroit member. And so I can piece together things and say, you know what, yeah, they definitely got an HR person in place. And so it's very clear to me. And so on June 28th, I actually sent her some feedback on LinkedIn. So June 28th at 8:22, sent her this message. Hi, Maureen. Hope your summer's off to a great start. Looks like this weekend is going to be a scorcher. Today is my 1-year anniversary as a PF member. I celebrated my 24 gym fitness anniversary last month. Time sure has flown. I wanted to drop you a line to let you know how impressed I continue to be with PF staff members. I know I sent you a message earlier this year showing how outstanding my home PF is in commerce. They continue to rock. I have also had the opportunity to branch out to other clubs when I have appointments, meetings, or travel to other areas. Gotta love that Black Card membership. Specifically in regard to PF Michigan Group clubs, so far I have worked out at both Dearborn locations, Milford, Farmington Hills, and Livonia 7 Mile. They are all doing a great job. I'm an early exerciser, especially during the summer, so my workouts start around 4-ish or 5-ish a.m. I marvel at the collective work ethic coupled with teamwork and collaboration between the overnight and morning shift staff members at PF Michigan Group clubs. I'm grateful for the collective staff members' commitment to upholding PF's brand standards of customer service and cleanliness. It is great to see. Kudos to you and the respective club management teams on your staffing. I know it isn't easy, but the hard work shows. Keep up the great work. I look forward to future exciting PF adventures. Best regards, Rachelle Smith, Detroit SHRM member 2012 through 2015. So quick recap here in terms of why I was sharing this and why I sent her this feedback. So when you're an HR director, when you're an HR manager, they have a ton of clubs. So I mentioned 39, 40 clubs by now, all right, spread across 2 different states. And so as an HR director, she's responsible for staffing, making sure they've got the right people. And this conversation could get really detailed in terms of staffing forecasting. And we want to open so many locations this year. So we're going to have this many candidates in the pipeline. It could get really detailed. I won't get into that, but a lot goes into that. And so when you think about the remarkable growth that PF Michigan Group, and yes, they have the highest profile among fitness facility owners and leaders in the state of Michigan, but when you own that many locations or franchises, they're certainly one of the largest in the nations for Planet Fitness in terms of franchise groups, but also across different industries. It doesn't matter if we're talking about Kentucky Fried Chicken or a cleaning franchise. When you own that many just across industries, you have leadership role just as franchisees across different industries. And so she's responsible for a lot of their growth, a lot of their success, because without people, without having a strong, seasoned HR manager and director running the show in terms of helping them to find great people and hire great people and keep great people and pay and raises, there's a lot that goes into that. And so I just use that as an example, utilize her as an example, because I see great things at these clubs, but I know that she plays a great role in that. Because without HR, without staffing, without recruiting functions, it just basically, it's just that kind of explosive, positive, rapid growth isn't possible. So I use that and I utilize this as an example to challenge you. You can get some HR insight as well. You may say, well, Rachelle, I only have 1 club. I can't afford it. I can't afford to have an HR person. All right, but there's different things. There's consultants that you can hire. There's a boatload of research and information and insight done that's available on the internet. One thing that you can do is to certainly find college programs that may have MBA programs in particular that may have an HR function. Partner with those programs. Sponsor projects. Say, hey, this is my franchise. This is my business. This is my private gym or studio. These are some of the challenges I'm having. I'm having high turnover for the last 2 years. Can't find out what's going on. Sponsor projects. They will put those MBA students in teams and have them solve your problems and give you a great deal of insight. That happens across so many different universities in this country, and certainly we did a lot of that at Northwestern in graduate school. So tap into some insight. And lastly, I mentioned that I went to the Wayne, Michigan location, and I didn't even know, I knew it was on the list earlier this year to open, but I checked into LinkedIn, I signed into LinkedIn, and I never just spend a lot of time reading the post or anything like that, just in the interest of time. But on Sunday, June 1st, I actually saw a post from her, because the guy from quicktutor.com, a marketing manager, said, are you interested in tutoring? And he sent me an invitation on LinkedIn. And so I logged in to see his invitation on LinkedIn, and her post was right there at the top. And I was like, oh, Maureen Cisco, I wonder what she's saying. Long story short, she was announcing their grand opening of the Wayne, Michigan location. Now, right here was a picture. I did not print the picture, but I'm going to quickly read the message here and close this message out. So Planet Fitness, or PF Michigan Group, Planet Fitness, she had posted it the day before. It says, we are excited to announce our newest club opening located at 34610 Michigan Avenue, Wayne, Michigan. Stop by and see this beautiful club and meet our awesome team. Hashtag grand opening, hashtag Planet Fitness. So folks, get some HR insights. People problems, people issues, people successes, people struggles, HR nightmares, people nightmares can certainly be mitigated and improved with the insight and with the presence of HR in your facility, okay? Whether just right there directly or again, gaining their insight in a consulting role or whatever the case may be. But so folks, power to the people. Power to the people. Recognize your people are everything. Your people are everything. So recognize that. Treat them right. Respect them. No public shaming. Whether you're a member of a facility or you're in a leadership role, let's all help preserve everyone's dignity and help people save face. Because truly, that is what, as human beings, we innately value that. We want to be respected. We want to be valued. We want to be appreciated and to be told that and certainly shown that. So I know we all have what it takes to make it happen, right? Of course you do. Thanks so much for your time, folks. Make it a wonderfully fit day.